Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on and talk about some books. It is that time of year again. It is time for my yearly most intimidating books video. You may have seen a couple of days ago I did a reaction or my On the Hook to Read the Book series for last year's list of intimidating books to find out how many of them I'd actually made my way through. Do go and check out that video if you haven't already to see how I did last year. Probably not very well, but for this year we are going back through the same prompts, back through the same questions to iron out just what books are scaring me this year and hopefully make my way through some of them. So the very first question is a book that I haven't been able to finish. Now for me, I don't have any books that I haven't been able to finish, so I've amended this slightly to a series that I haven't been able to finish. And that is the Kingdom of the Wicked series by Kerri Maniscalco. I have read the first book, I haven't read the second one, and I'm waiting for the third one to come out in paperback before I buy it so that all my editions are matching. I really enjoyed the first book in this series, and I've heard so many people raving about how amazing the rest of the series is and how it sort of levels up to new adult, which is definitely more up my alley than YA, so I just don't know why I haven't read these books. As for what they're about, the blurb of the first book says, 2 sisters, 1 murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself. Emilia and her twin sister Vittoria are Strega, witches who live secretly among humans, avoiding notice and persecution. Until one night, Vittoria misses dinner service at the family's renowned Sicilian restaurant. Emilia soon finds the body of her beloved twin, desecrated beyond belief. Devastated, Emilia vows to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic that's been long forbidden. Then Emilia meets Wrath, one of the wicked, princess of hell she has been warned against since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Emilia's side, tasked with solving the series of murders on the island, but when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems. I mean, that just sounds amazing to me. I don't know why I haven't continued on with the series. I just haven't. The very next prompt is a book that I haven't read because I haven't had the time, and technically I have read this one, but I do want to do a reread of it because the first time I read it was right back when I was getting back into reading again for the very first time. It was almost 3 years ago, and I want to continue with the rest of the series and give this book a second chance because I didn't love it the first time, but my reading taste has definitely evolved since, and I know so many people rave about this series, but enough of all the suspense. The book is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is a very hyped up series. The third book in the series I think is Jade Legacy or Jade War, I can't remember. Only came out fairly recently, I think in the last year or so, so naturally everybody went full on the hype train when it came out. I was not on that train because I hadn't read the rest of the series, but now I'm kind of like, maybe I'll like it now that I've grown up a bit in terms of my reading taste. But as for what this is about, the blurb says, Jade is the lifeblood of the city of Janloon, a stone that enhances a warrior's natural strength and speed. It is mined, traded, stolen, and killed for, all controlled by 2 families equal in their power and ruthlessness. When a modern drug emerges that allows anyone, even foreigners, to wield Jade, simmering tension between the 2 clans erupts into open war. Definitely intimidating, but I do need to finish it because I have bought all 3 books. The next prompt is a book that I haven't read because it's a sequel. Now, the first book in this series I read, loved ages ago. I do not know why I haven't picked up the second one. I have a special edition of it. I know I'm gonna love it because I know a lot of people have as well. And that is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber, which is the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Both of these are the Fairy Loot special editions. They are absolutely gorgeous. The sprayed edges are to die for. The blue and the pink I think go so well together. I'm just really terrified to pick this one up because of how much I loved this one. But as for what Once Upon a Broken Heart is about, the blurb says, never make a deal with fate. For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in happily ever after, until she learns that the love of her life is about to marry another and her dreams are shattered. Desperate to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses, to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. This is set in the same universe as the Caraval trilogy, again another series by this author that I absolutely loved. I loved how visual and just imaginative it is, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. The next prompt is a book that I haven't read yet because it is brand new, and this is I think one of the most recent books that I've purchased. If not, it's definitely up there. I bought it while I was in Cambridge because it's part of a series of videos that I'm doing. Yes, this is 100% a shameless plug for that series, and that is The Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie. Christie. I am doing a Christie Mysteries and Me series where I essentially read these books and try to solve the mysteries live on camera, and then we reveal the whole thing. It's very, very spoilery, but it's great fun solving these mysteries as I read the book and writing down all my notes and talking about it with you guys. So this is the next book in that series. It's only the second one and I've just bought it. It's brand new and I am excited to read it, but it definitely intimidates me because the project relating to that video takes a long time to film. As for what it's about, it says an urgent cry for help brings Poirot to France. I don't know why I struggled with that. But he arrives too late to save his client, whose brutally stabbed body now lies face downwards in a shallow grave on a golf course. But why is the dead man wearing his son's overcoat? And who was the impassioned love letter in the pocket for? Before Poirot can answer these questions, the case is turned upside down by the discovery of a second identically murdered corpse. Sounds amazing. I need to read it. The next prompt is for a book that I haven't read because I didn't like a previous book by the same author. And this one was a little bit difficult for me because I don't tend to keep books when I've disliked a lot of the work by the same author. So if I dislike a work by an author, I'll go and read a bunch of their other stuff pretty much immediately afterwards, and I'll either bin off all the books that I have, like aka give them to charity shops or sell them, not actually throw them in the bin, or I will hold on to them if I found others that I liked and I'll just get rid of the one that I didn't like. In this case, I usually like this author's work, but there's been one book, and that is the latest book that I read from them, that I really didn't like. The book that I'm talking about is Something Wilder by Christina Lauren. This is the intimidating book, but the book that I didn't like was Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren, which I read for part of my Bookmas series, I think. I really, really didn't like that story, and it has made me hesitate now with this author because whilst I've liked two of their works, The Unhoneymooners and The Soulmate Equation, not liking that one has kind of made me jaded. But as for what this story is about, it says, Lily has never forgotten the man that got away, but she certainly hasn't forgiven him either. As the daughter of a notorious treasure hunter, Lily makes ends meet using her father's coveted hand-drawn maps, guiding tourists on fake treasure hunts through the canyons of Utah. When the man she once loved walks back into her life, Lily can't believe her eyes. Frankly, she'd like to take him out into the wilderness and leave him there. Leo wants nothing more than to reconnect with his first and only love. Unfortunately, Lily is all business. It's never going to happen. But when the trip goes horribly and hilariously wrong, the group wonders if maybe the legend of the hidden treasure wasn't a gimmick after all. Alone under the stars, Leo and Lily must decide whether they'll risk their lives and their hearts on the adventure of a lifetime. I love second chance romances, so I'm really, really hoping for good things with this one, but I have heard other people say they didn't love it, so yeah, it makes me nervous and jaded. Next up, we've got a book that I haven't read yet because I'm not in the mood. And this happens a lot with my special edition books. Because I didn't purchase them myself, I find I'm often not in the mood to read them. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's just how my brain works because I'm like, I didn't purchase that, so it can wait. And that is very much the case with this one, and that is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. I have heard so many people talking about how much they love this book, but they are booktubers who I have like a hate to love relationship with in terms of books that we have in common. Some of the books both of us have read I've absolutely loved, and others of the books I've absolutely hated. So that makes me nervous about picking this one up, and it makes me kind of not feel in the mood to read it a lot of the time. It is like a witchy book. It's a witchy fantasy. I don't think there's any romance or anything in here, and I do prefer my fantasy to have romance. I think it's more found family-esque, and I'm just not in the mood for that at the moment. But as for what it's about, it says, hidden among us is a secret coven of witches. Known as Her Majesty's Royal Coven, they protect crown and country from magical forces and otherworldly evil. But their greatest enemy will come from within. There are whisperings of a prophecy that will bring the coven to its knees, and four best friends are about to be caught at the center. Will Helena, Neve, Leonie, and Elle be able to stop the prophecy before it's too late? Or will the differences that have seen them grow apart since childhood be too great to overcome? Life as a modern witch has never been simple, but now it's about to get apocalyptic. It sounds fun, and the cover screams at me that this is going to be great, but I'm still nervous about it. Next up is a book that I haven't read because it's humongous. And again, technically I have read this one, but it was forever ago, and I'm doing a project at the moment where I want to reread this entire series and watch it along with the TV show as well. No, it's not the Shadowhunter series, it is the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon, and this is the first book. I absolutely love this series. I loved the books, as many as I got through, which was like 3 or 4 of them, and I love the TV show. I watch it every time it comes out. I love Jamie and Claire, Brianna, and her husband, whose name is escaping me right now, which is so bad, but I love every couple. I love all the kids. I love the whole thing. and so I need to do a big reread project so I can complete this sort of project that I want to do. But as for what this is about, it says in 1946, Claire Randall is back from the war and reunited with her husband on a second honeymoon in Scotland. She walks through a stone circle in the Highlands and finds herself in a violent skirmish taking place in 1743. Suddenly she is a Sassenach, an outlander in a country ravaged by war and by clan feuds. Marooned amid the passion and violence, the superstition, the shifting allegiances, and the fervent loyalties, Claire is in danger from Jacobites and redcoats and from the shock of her own desire for James Fraser, a gallant and courageous young Scots warrior. Jamie shows her a passion so fierce and a love so absolute that Claire becomes a woman torn between fidelity and desire, and between two vastly different men in two irreconcilable lives. I mean, I love this series and I need to read it, but it is like 700 and something pages long, I'm pretty sure, and the pages in this book are like Bible pages. They're so thin, so it makes me even more worried. Yeah, 863 pages is how long this book is. It's huge. Next up is a book I haven't read because it's a cover buy with mediocre reviews, and this one definitely applies. This author is very, very popular, but I've heard a lot of people say that this book is not her best work and it's somewhat problematic, and it's had issues with like publication and everything because of it being problematic. And that book is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. I haven't read this and I don't know enough about the detail behind that to know what's problematic because I'm worried that that will be a spoiler, so I'm not looking into that too much. Nevertheless, I love this cover. I think it's beautiful and I love that it's shiny as well. But yeah, I haven't picked it up because I've heard people say it's not really that great. As for what it's about, it says Fallon meets Ben, an aspiring novelist, the day of her scheduled cross-country move. Their untimely attraction leads them to spend Fallon's last day in LA together, and her eventful life becomes the creative inspiration Ben has always sought for his novel. Over time, and amidst the various relationships and tribulations of their own separate lives, they continue to meet on the same date every year, until one day Fallon becomes unsure if Ben has been telling her the truth or fabricating a perfect reality for the sake of the ultimate plot twist. Can Ben's relationship with Fallon and simultaneously his novel be considered a love story if it ends in heartbreak? Another reason why I haven't read it is because I like my romances to end in love, not heartbreak. And last but not least, we've got the most intimidating book on my TBR, and this is one that you potentially won't expect from me, because the reason why this book is so intimidating is because it's not something I chose for myself. It's something Ben chose for me, and it's huge. And it's a series that I know he likes, and I know he likes the TV show that this book series got adapted into, which just all of that combined makes this really intimidating for me because I will really want to love it. I will want to share that love of this book with him, but I'm really worried that I won't because it's not my kind of thing in any sense of the word. And that is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Ben actually got me to pick this up in the bookshop with him. He selected this for me, and ever since then I've been really, really hesitant to pick it up, plus it's huge. But as for what it's about, it says, after 3 years in prison, Shadow Moon is free to go home. But hours before his release, his beloved wife is killed in a freak accident. Numbly, he boards a plane where he meets an enigmatic stranger who seems to know Shadow and claims to be an ancient god and king of America. Together they embark on a profoundly strange road trip across the USA, encountering a kaleidoscopic cast of characters along the way. But all around them, a storm of unnatural proportions is gathering. War is coming, an epic struggle for the very soul of America, and Shadow is standing squarely in its path. So yeah, it's not really my thing if you listen to that blurb and you know me at all, but I do have to read it at some point. So those are the 9 most intimidating books on my TBR. Fingers crossed I can get a few of these smashed out this year, because all in all, they are things that I do want to read. I'm just really nervous about reading them for the various reasons. So come and let me know in the comments down below what your 9 most intimidating books are. Do follow along with these questions if you want to. I'd be really, really interested to know what each of these are for you. Or just let me know what you're reading at the moment, loving it, hating it, all that kind of thing. Come and chat to me in the comments down below. I love talking to you guys, and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It's a super, super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!